Hello and welcome back, Commanders and Commanderettes. Justy Puller here with another War Commander video. This is on Sector Breach. There's two purposes for this video. This is how I'm doing my speed run, and also I wanted to show you my Enshin basic display. I'm not using anything but Enshins. I'm using 11 Enshins. Also, don't forget you need thorium. So right here, I'm going to let my buggy die on purpose so that I don't have to come back and get it. It'll go back to my base for me. And I deploy my Lilith and my Malachi, and that'll take care of the thorium base. So for base number one, you don't need any missiles. You don't need any, what do you call it, mercs. And it was up against a rock, so I didn't get to use all six of my platoons. And I have two platoons here with just one Enshin in it. And that's probably why I took damage, because this is the first time I've ever taken damage. I usually do this base with 10 Enshins, just five platoons. But in this particular instance, I had only eight units in here. So that's probably why I took like 15 seconds worth of damage on one of my engines. So that's not a big deal. And part of my strategy is that I have more platoons than I need. Um, Therefore, um, I never run out of platoons, right? So if one of them gets damaged, I send it back to the base, and that's part of the strategy that I'm showing you. So, like I said, typically I don't take ever any damage on the number one, and um, that's another part of my strategy. Don't do the number one base until you take damage. If you take damage, go do the number one base. You only need five platoons for that, and you almost like never get damage on the number one base. And if you do take damage on any of these are all just number one or level one Enshins, okay? And that's all I'm using. 11 Enshins. That's all you need. Actually, I was using 10 for a long time, and that was fine. I was using 10 Enshins and Brother Loomis, and that also works because you can put the tactics on Brother Loomis. This is just easier. I don't have to mess with Brother Loomis, and if Brother Loomis ever takes damage, then I'm out Brother Loomis, right? But this way, if you ever take damage on one of your Enshins, you've got like three extra platoons there that you can replace that platoon with while it repairs for a few seconds, right? So for this number two base, um, drop a missile on the academy. I don't think there is anything in the tech center. I've popped the tech center a bunch of times and I've never seen anything come out. Um, so once the missile is dropped, drop your mercs and then deploy your Enshins. In this case, I believe I have 11 here. Maybe I have 10. Um, 10 or 11 is fine. It's really all you need. And typically, the units that only have one engine in them never really get too much damage because there's only one unit, and so it lessens the damage for that one. When you have two and they both get damage, it can build up the damage for your platoon to make it where that platoon requires repair. But if you see what I'm doing here, I'm just swapping out one platoon for another. And currently I think I have seven platoons. Yeah, I have seven platoons. Number five and number seven only have one unit in them. So I have a total of 12 Enshins. And, um, and that's how I'm getting by on this. Now, I found, like you'll see in my other video, having five Enshins and five ogres does basically the same thing. But actually, I like the five ogres better. One ogre and one Enshin, one ogre and one Enshin, and if you just do that, that fills your platoon perfectly. And but this way, I get to use just only the Enshins, and it's just a test, really, but it works very well. And it seems to be a little bit faster um, because the Enshins move faster than the ogres, and because they're also moving faster, it seems like you're taking less damage, right? So um, let's see. Um, I mean, like we are 5 minutes into the video, and we're getting ready to be done with the first go round, right? And I'll do two go rounds just so I can show you how this works, how you never really have to stop. Um, I was trying to fix that platoon so that I had two platoons in there, but that's fine, or two units in there, but that's fine. I'll just leave them like they are. And we'll do this one with, I think we're going to have just 10 units in here altogether because I got two with only, yeah, that's correct. I'm only going to have 10 um, units in here because I have got two units with only one engine, and all the others have two engines. So that's 8 plus 2 is 10. That's okay. It's fine. And this is the number 3 base, and I've done this number 3 base with 10 engines multiple times, and it's fine. Um, Most of the time, it's actually free repair. Almost all of these bases you can do. I mean, all of these bases you can do with free repair. It all depends on RNG. So sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. I'm not doing any controlling. I'm just basically just deploying, and that's a way that you can quickly farm. This is my farm or speed farm video on how to get hundreds of thousands of points. Now, if you'll see here, by the time we get done here, we get 104,000 in like, I think it's like 8 minutes, right? So you can get, I think I've calculated that I'll get about 600,000 points in just over an hour. So just, you can keep doing this. It's very fast. It's very repeatable. The formula is super easy. It's not difficult. And like I said, I'm only using level 1 engines. Now I do have workshop on the engines. I started out with just the gold and the bronze tech. That's the two important workshops. Now I finally did get the silver workshop for it, and it does not seem to have made a difference at all because the silver, it only increases the damage that they do against ground and infantry, but um, I mean, maybe that helps a little bit, but I haven't noticed a difference in um, repair times or anything like that. So notice that while I was out taking care of the event, that my thorium got filled up because I attacked that thorium base. And whenever I see a number 3 thorium base, I put a star on it and I go back to it as soon as possible. And sometimes I'll store the thorium that I have built up away. But during an event like this, I want to keep my thorium full. And you'll also notice that your metal and your oil is getting replenished as you do the general set and also the conqueror set. It's giving you lots and lots of metal, so you don't have to metal and oil, so you don't have to worry about your resources so much because they are basically being automatically refilled. The only thing you have to worry about is thorium. Once again, I said that we do not need um, the the mercs on the number 2 base. That's up to you. I've done it about a dozen times without using it, and about a couple dozen times with using the not the mercs, the mercs. Um, they need the missile though on the academy for the number 2 base. You need a missile on the academy. For the number 3 base, you put a missile on the academy, but slightly over to the right, and you can also get the. It's like two birds with one stone. On the number 3 base, you'll use the missile, the Maverick missile, on the academy. The academy is the more important one, I think, and but also just barely on the edge of the tech center, and it should work. Here's the number 2 base. We're gonna do the one missile on the academy. Like I said, I'm fairly certain that there's nothing in this tech center, so don't waste a missile on it. Now I have done this base free repair without any missiles and without any mercs, and it came out free repair. So I'm not even certain you need to use the missile on the academy. And the reason I'm thinking that the mercs don't do that much, it's because of the AI on the units on this base. They're smarter than the old units, and they're not really distracted by um, the um, the first unit that hits the ground. In this case, the mercs. Right? They don't appear to be distracted by them. The mercs are falling, and they are literally going for whatever unit you deployed. So it might just be a waste to use the mercs altogether. It's just something I've noticed, and I've been testing it, and I'm not 100% certain yet, but I'm fairly certain on the number 1 and the number 2 base that the mercs do no good. On the number 3 base, I think they might help a little bit. I mean, mercs are pretty cheap, and I've just been in the habit of rebuilding them, but I really should get to the bottom of this. I really do want to know if they are doing anything. I think this is going to be my last Sector Breach update. I've covered all of everything else that's going on um, in this event. And by the way, guys, let me say this. Sector Breach is always a grind. Sector Breach is always one of the hardest events. Sector Breach is end game stuff for guys that like to play PvP. You can absolutely play this game without doing Sector Breach, but you'll fall behind on PvP. So, if you want to compete in PvP, you have to do this event. And if you, in an event like this, you can get the engines, they're cheap, you can get them pretty quickly, and then you can just farm the heck out of it and you can catch up. I'm not saying, you should do that, but if you wanted to catch up, you could farm this event. The last couple events have been pretty farmable. However, yes, they have been a grind. I'll be honest, they've been boring and they've been a grind, so that I haven't been getting everything that I should in these events. I think the last time was an exception, and I think I bought every single thing possible for my account. This one, I'm not very interested in getting the parts for my ogre hero. I might do it because that's the last thing that I have left to get. But I understand that this is not a fun event. This is not an easy event. But this way that I'm showing you makes it so that pretty much anybody can do it. Now, the reason my engines are level 1 and still are level 1 is because I've got a 6-day upgrade on my academy, and it's one of the last upgrades. And I knew that this was coming, but I wasn't sure at the time if this unit was still going to be a infantry. I thought it was going to be ground, so I went ahead and upgraded my academy because I'm stuck on my academy. And my tech center is upgraded all the way, and my hangar is upgraded all the way. So if you have your academy available and you can get your engines to level 10, I mean, this is going to be a breeze. I can't do it because my academy is going to be in work until one day after this event ends, and then I'll be able to upgrade my engines to level 10. Uh, but um, the the fact is that I'm stuck with level 1 engines. That's kind of just bad luck on my part. But if you're like, say, a lower level player and you have 5 of these things, I think you could do it so easy, like just 5 of these and 5, whatever you put behind it. In this case, I have been using Brother Loomis, and he doesn't even take a scratch because I put him behind an engine. The engines move forward. So in this case, I believe you can use legendary Lightbringers, legendary Ogres, or legendary even the war horses, because they're not going to take too much damage because they're focusing on the engines, which seem to have a higher priority than the mercs or anything else. Like, I don't know what the priority is. They don't give us that information, but they seem to have a higher priority than the mercs. And so, therefore, whenever the mercs fall, they immediately turn as soon as you deploy one of your engines. And the engines move so quickly and go right into the middle of the base that whatever is behind it seems to go untouched. If you look at my previous videos, I'm using one engine and one ogre, and the ogres don't get a scratch on them because they're slower and they stay behind, but the ogres do good damage. So you don't have to have as many engines as I have. Look at my previous video. The only thing that I'm using so many engines for is because it's just more convenient. If I do have damage on a platoon, it's just more convenient for me to just replace it with another generic Enshin platoon. So that's it. One last thing. I think I was taking less damage when I had one ogre and one Enshin. Like I said, this is just a test mode. But I hope it was helpful. Have a good one. See you next time.